Alright, this is going to be a video of this 54-inch Hampton Bay brand Windward III ceiling fan that came from my local Habitat Restore, as I am a volunteer there. Pretty much what I do for them is ensure the ceiling fans they receive via donation are more presentable than how they previously came in. For any of you who are wondering, Hampton Bay is actually a Home Depot brand that sells a variety of furnishings for around the house. However, mainly focuses on fans and lighting. To actually make the ceiling fans for them, though, they chose a variety of manufacturers over different periods of time. This one, just like a lot of their newer models, was made by King Fans. Anyways, I'm going to demonstrate the fan for all you guys now, starting out with the light kit. As you can see, this is functioning, and for the downlight, I'm using a single 17.5 watt LED module, and for the uplight, I'm using two 14 watt energy saving compact fluorescent bulbs. I'll turn that off, and for the fan itself, I'll begin with the high speed. Looking at the white piece of tape that I've fixed to one of the blades for RPM indication, I'd say that high is probably going to spin at around 180, maybe 185 RPM. Although it might not be particularly fast, it does push a highly impressive amount of air, as even from way back here, I can still feel a decent breeze. Next, I'll show the medium speed. Medium is going to spin down to roughly 130, possibly 135 RPM. Apart from the large amount of air noise generated by the Gossamer Wind Series blades, the fan is virtually silent when it runs, as there's very little bearing noise or hum from the motor. And last, however certainly not least, the low speed, which I'll show with the fan and light on simultaneously. Low is probably going to move at about 70, maybe 75 RPM. Anyways, I'll turn it off now. And I'm going to be discussing some general information on the fan. The original remote control system it came with was actually non-functioning, as really the only thing I got out of it was a brief flash of the uplight and downlight when power was applied to the fan, and that's pretty much it. Therefore, I replaced it with a universal hunter remote control, as you can see. And although I've lost pretty much most of the functionality of the previous remote, as it's forward only, does not have a thermostat, nor separate control of the uplight and downlight, it seems to have been working fairly well so far, apart from an occasional glitch that occurs when you change speeds, and that is that the light will briefly blink on and off. It's nothing too major though, and does not happen consistently. This would have been a fairly early Windward III, being dated 2005, as I believe these were only introduced in around 2006. They were discontinued in 2008 due to their decreasing popularity, as they were meant to replace the Windward II. However, they just ended up being sold alongside it, and it didn't act as a full replacement, as the Windward II featured a more powerful motor and better airflow. That being said, however, they were fairly popular at the time, mainly in the US. Not so much here in Canada though, as this is the only one I've ever seen in person. Currently, you're looking at the brushed steel version of the Windward III. These are also available in white, which seems to be a more popular finish. The 17.5 watt LED light module that I'm using for the downlight is not original. What the fan would have come with from factory is a 40 watt twin tube fluorescent circline bulb. However, that was not present at the time I received the fan, and since Home Depot discontinued these bulbs in Canada, I used a LED module that I obtained from another Hampton Bay fan. To conclude the video here, I'm going to be touching on the pros and cons on the fan, and what I would rank it out of 5 stars. Beginning with the pros. Although I never thought I'd be saying this, I quite like the look of the Windward III. In the past, in pictures I've seen on Craigslist, I really didn't like the look of it at all. In fact, I thought it was quite ugly. However, the crappy pictures really were no true indication of the fan's contemporary beauty, as seeing it in person, I have a completely different opinion altogether. In terms of practicality, the fan does push a lot of air, and it is well constructed, using a 172 by 20 motor in it. The only thing that I really don't like about it is installation, as I had to actually assemble the blades before I put the fan on the ceiling, which was rather annoying. And also, the 40 watt fluorescent twin tube bulbs are quite scarce and hard to find, at least here in Canada. Other than that though, I really do not have much to complain about at all. I guess if I had to be particularly picky, I would have liked to have seen maybe a 188 motor. However, due to space restrictions, that probably would not have fit in the housing anyways. Overall, I'd give the fan 4.5 out of 5 stars. The main disadvantages being the light bulb and ease of assembly, or lack thereof. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know what you think in the comment box below the video. So, there's lots more to come.